Five, four, three, two, one.
You're listening to only the best internet radio station in the world. This is your number one radio station.
Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We are back for another episode of the Roy Judah Podcast Show. I would like to welcome you. Thank you for clicking on the Roy Judah Podcast Show. Now hit that follow button and share the Roy Judah Podcast Show with at least 2 people. That's right. It takes 2 seconds to share the podcast with 2 people. The vision for the Roy Judah Podcast Show is to impact the lives of those that we love in our communities as well as around the globe. And if this is your first time joining the Roy Judah Podcast Show, I would like to welcome you to the tribe. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, if you have not listened to Season 1's recap, please go and do so. Your stream is very valuable. We are here now. It is episode 4. If you have not checked out 1, 2, or 3, please go and do that. And if you're not following us on social media, look up the Roy Judah. You'll find us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Hit that follow button and share with at least 2 people. All right. With that being said, we got to give a shout out to one of our sponsors. Got to show love to the sponsors. Listen, this episode is brought to you by Winning Over Whatever, The Ultimate Wow Factor. Now, this book is by Melody T. Monroe. Winning Over Whatever, The Ultimate Wow Factor. Now, Miss Melody T. Monroe is a child of God who loves worship, and as a daughter of 2 pastors, she was raised in a church, and her first divine appointment was playing piano for a Baptist church at the age of 15. Melody went on to major in music education with a minor in business at Appalachian State University and earned a master's in arts management from George Mason University. Today, Melody is a general music teacher in Maryland. It's an awesome story. Now, you can follow Melody on Instagram at Mel_T_Monroe. And that's MEL_T_Monroe. MONROE. Now, this book features 39 different testimonies of people who have overcome challenges in their life through faith in God and being divinely covered in prayer. Readers will meet individuals who have been delivered from trauma, depression, or suicidal thoughts, even drug addictions, and a life of trouble without God in it, to name a few. Readers will have no trouble finding someone inside the book with a testimony that they can relate to. The book includes a thematic index so that you can go directly to the testimony with a theme that you need encouragement for the most. You can get the book on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or you can go to www.melodytmonroe.com. Again, that's www.melodytmonroe.com. Now, if you go to Melody's website, you can sign up to receive the free 7 prayers to empower you to win ebook. Short prayers you can use daily to help you increase your faith and to invite God into your situation to change things. Yes, indeed. Now, we know that prayer does change things. And again, Melody T. Monroe is an author, She is married. She has 3 kids, and she is currently living in Maryland. So we're going to shout her out. Please give her a warm round of applause for being a sponsor for the Roy Judah Podcast Show. We are grateful for her gift, and what she has to share with the world. Again, if you want to follow Melody, she's on Instagram at Mel_T_Monroe. That's MEL_T_Monroe. Go follow author Melody T. Monroe. Let's give her another round of applause. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, today's episode is entitled The Pain of Unforgiveness. And it's an area that I believe that we all could use some help in. Whether you have forgiven the person or you haven't forgiven the person, it is still an area that affects us, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And I want to share some information with you on the psychological impact of unforgiveness. Unforgiveness can be defined psychologically as the emotional imbalance due to delayed response towards a transgressor. However, the expression, I'm going to say that again. However, the expression, anger, hatred, frustration, or violence depends on the mental state of the person. Now, the reason why I wanted to share that is because unforgiveness looks different in everyone. Okay? Some people can be harboring unforgiveness and go on about their life. Now, it's not healthy, but they can move right on along. Then there are other people who are harboring unforgiveness and they act out, right? They have an imbalance due to delayed response from their transgressor. That's good right there. That'll preach. Now, the expression. Now we gotta take a moment to just really focus on this. Can we just take a moment to focus just a little bit on that? Unforgiveness can be defined as psychological. Now we know that it's internal, right? We've all had a bit of unforgiveness in us. That's an internal thing. However, it can be defined as psychological. And again, everybody has a different reaction to the internal unforgiveness. This is good. All right. So what you have to understand is that everybody's reaction to unforgiveness may not look like yours. And I believe that it is essential that we start to have grace for people. Because again, unforgiveness can be defined as psychological. So when you start getting to the psyche of a person, it is a delayed response to a transgressor. And that expression of the delayed response is anger, hatred, frustration, or violence. I truly believe that this is my purpose. And I want to share this information because when I study and I research and I bring these topics that I have been led to talk about, these are areas in my life that I've struggled with. Okay, can I be transparent? Can I tell my story? Can I share my testimony? I've struggled with these areas, and now I understand years and years later that a lot of my rebellion had to do with unforgiveness. But my expression, listen to me, my expression was anger, hatred, frustration, or violence. We have to be mindful of ourselves, our behaviors, our actions, because we're living in a world that whatever you put out is what you're going to get back. And let me say this, God's grace is sufficient enough. Don't ever let anyone take that from you. And I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. God's grace is sufficient enough to keep you and to cover you. Okay? So you may not deal with unforgiveness the way that someone else deals with it. But what you have to understand is God's grace is sufficient enough. Again, he will keep you and he will cover you. But we have to do the work. We have to be willing to do the work. Okay? Because unforgiveness is internal, it's psychological, but the expression is anger, hatred, frustration, or violence. So when you see people acting out and you see people doing acts of violence, or they seem frustrated all the time, or they have a hatred for someone, or they're angry at someone, and this person has moved on with their life and they're long gone, and this person is harboring anger, that is an expression. The root of that is unforgiveness. See, we got to start getting to the root of the issues of not only the things that our lives, but the things that are also in the lives of others, so that we can recognize what that is. Because when you harbor unforgiveness, it has to go somewhere. And it's just like a volcano. Eventually it's going to erupt. And when it erupts, we're going to get some type of expression, whether that's raising your voice, whether that's acting out, whether that's throwing dishes, turning over tables, whether that's violence. As we can see in the world, the domestic violence rate has went up huge. Like it's enormous at this point. We're seeing it every day. I think I saw an article that said every 15 seconds there's a domestic violence issue. Every 15 seconds. But we got to understand and we got to learn how to deal with unforgiveness. Whether that's in relationships, especially, this is for everybody, but especially with my people in the African American community, we have to deal with unforgiveness. We have to deal with it. And we have to deal with it in the right light. And we have to deal with it with good intentions and for what's best for everyone. When forgiveness is present, love is abound. I'm going to say that again. Write that down. When forgiveness is present, love is abound. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Don't even know where that came from. That just was a download. Because love is enough. And I know that the world will have you believe that love is not enough. I've heard several people say love is not enough. I need more than love. I need money and this and this. But at the end of the day, if God's love was not enough, don't get me started. See, God's love was enough. And that's how I know for a fact that love is enough. Somebody can love you back. Somebody could love you back. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. Somebody could love you back whole if you allow them to. Which brings me back to my point. The importance of forgiveness. Now, if you don't have forgiveness, then you won't be able to be loved back whole. Because we're going to continue to see expressions of anger, frustration, hatred, and violence. I was watching a TikTok a couple nights ago, and there was a lady. I don't know what it was. The only thing I don't like about TikTok is when you like click on the app, it automatically just open up on something random, and you just be like, okay, what is this? And it just start playing. I don't like that. Let me choose what I want to watch when I first click on the app, okay? That's all I'm saying. Let me choose what I want to see when I first click on the app. I don't want to see some crazy stuff. But anyways, so I click on the app, it opens up. There's a video of a lady and a man, and I guess they were doing some type of lie detector test. He wanted to know if she was cheating. And I mean, this lady was going ham. She was like, I don't want to be here. I'm talking all attitude. I don't want to be here. Why are we here? You know I love you, and this and that and this and that. Long story short, she takes the lie detector test. Come to find out she was lying. They bring the dude in. It's just a lot of unforgiveness. Is what I'm trying to get to. Okay, a lot of unforgiveness, and he's been staying the whole time. She's been doing this multiple times, and he stayed. Listen. When you don't know how valuable you are, you will accept anything. I'm going to say it again. When you do not know how valuable you are, you will accept anything. If they choose to walk away, let them leave. But do not harbor unforgiveness. The marriage didn't work, but there's no need to harbor unforgiveness, because what happens is that person moves on and they're living their best life. And you are sitting over here in the dark with the curtains and the drapes closed. You don't feel like getting out of bed. And I know that all things in life come with grief. Whew. But at some point, you have to let go of that unforgiveness and move on, because they did. Okay? They did. And you don't need to be living in that state of mind. Okay, don't get me started. That is a state of mind that you don't have to be attached to, chained to, bonded to, because you are free. Despite what they said, despite what they did, you are free. So don't walk around with a ball and chain hooked to you for no reason. And that's what unforgiveness is. You are literally walking around with a ball and chain attached to you, and you wonder why life feels heavy. And let me just keep it real. You have to be intentional, mindful, and honest with yourself about the spaces, the people, and the places that you put yourself in. I realized several months ago that there are certain environments that I cannot be in. It's not good. It's not good for me, and it's not good for people. So I don't even put myself in those types of situations. So we have to be mindful that we don't put ourselves in an environment. You can heal, but you're going to still have the scar, okay? And scars can be easily torn back open. So let's not even go there. Let's just, you stay over there, I stay over here and mind my business, okay? Now, what I want you to understand is that unforgiveness triggers those stressors which force a person to think that they have harmed them in an ethically and morally wrong way. A person with such a mental state can take potentially harmful steps, and in extreme cases, people develop suicidal tendencies. Unforgiveness is powerful, okay? There are a number of ways through which unforgiveness can damage mental health. Some of the most dangerous ones are chronic stress response, short-term intense responses, depression, paranoid personality disorder, and so on and so on. Now, what I want you to understand is when a person starts thinking that other people can harm him or her, it gives rise to negative emotions. Apart from causing severe disease like cardiovascular issues and high blood pressure, chronic stress can also cause brain hemorrhage. A person who lets out the negative feelings in the form of hatred or violence is less prone to severe health issues that the person who cannot express his or her mental state will do. Long-term effects of chronic stress can and also give rise to psychological disorders. Often, persons suffering from chronic stress due to unforgiveness end up as anorexic or bulimic. Listen to me. Unforgiveness is unhealthy, period. Point blank. Let it go. I have always had this internal compass that if I get into it with somebody or I disagree with somebody and tempers are flaring, I don't hold on to anger, frustration, rage, I don't want none of it. I'm on to the next. We could get in a disagreement. 10 minutes later, I'm fine. Let's go get a burger, something to eat. Let's go do something fun. But I've come into contact with people who have the lack of understanding that we just had a disagreement. This is not a full-fledged WWE match, okay? Can somebody relate? Some people harbor anger, frustration, all of those expressions long-term, a week, 2 weeks, months, years, over one misunderstanding. And what I want you to know is on the outside, you look healthy, but you and I know that you are harboring unforgiveness. If you pay attention when you talk about certain things around certain people, you can look at their facial expression and tell that they have a real deal problem with a person, a situation. You can look at their face and tell, and they may say something. That is an expression. Now, what I understand about expressions is that they don't have to be necessarily anger, rage, frustration, violence. They don't have to be those things. Those are some of the signs. They could be the way somebody talks about another person or a situation or something that happens. Listen, it happened. And we have to learn how to get past those things by having a heart, okay? Having a heart to forgive and letting go of harboring unforgiveness. As long as you allow unforgiveness to have a place to dwell, you will never live a whole life. I'm gonna say that again for the people in the back. As long as you allow unforgiveness to have a place to dwell, you will never live a whole life. Not a full life. Not a life that is worth living, because you're going to be miserable. And externally, you may look like you have it all together, but internally, you are sick. Whew. You are sick. And a sick person has the capacity, listen to me. Woo, thank you, Holy Spirit. The sick person has the capacity to get other people sick. A sick person has the capacity to get other people sick. Okay? Listen to me. Don't allow your sickness to impact my standard of healthy living. Whew. We are here for therapeutic reasons. We are here to grow. We are here to thrive. This podcast sole purpose is this right here. I feel good. This is awesome. Now, as always, share the podcast with at least 2 people. It takes 2 seconds to share it with 2 people, 2 and 2. Now, One of the other things that I want to touch on is short-term intense responses. Now, when I was doing some studying, I have my notes here. A person suffering from delayed expressions trauma cannot interact with other people. This impacts the communication skills, thinking abilities, and decision-making power of a person. That is good. Short-term intense responses, right? But one of the other issues that unforgiveness brings when we're dealing with health and our well-being is depression. Unaddressed and delayed negative emotions can cause a number of long-term mental health problems, and depression, and I say that again, depression is one of them. Depression is the most frequent encountered mental health issue. But the depression caused by unexpressed emotions can be more dangerous than other forms. Wait a minute. Do you know the power and the impact of unforgiveness? Depression is the most frequent encountered mental health issue, but the depression caused by unexpressed emotions can be more dangerous than other forms. It not only impacts the mental stability of a person, but it also damages his or her physical health. Common health issues associated with depression can directly impact mental health are anxiety, short temperament, and sleepiness. Listen to me. Depression is serious. We are living in a time where there is a shortage of Adderall, not just for the kids. Adults are taking Adderall. Anxiety is at an all-time high. Stress is at an all-time high. Do you hear me? Stress is at an all-time high. And the problem is that unforgiveness has worked its way in, and it has impacted our day-to-day lives, and people are not recognizing it. Now, what I will say is that all issues may not be related to unforgiveness, but there are a great deal of people walking around harboring unforgiveness. All right. So it is important that we address these issues in this manner, head on, face to face. No more ducking, no more hiding. And we want to be whole. We want to be happy. We want to be truly happy, because we know that happy is a state of mind, right? And joy cannot be taken. But happy is a state of mind. Happy is almost like a feeling, right? But I'd rather be happy than to be walking around harboring unforgiveness. Now, one of the other issues that I'm going to drop really quick is paranoid personality disorder. A person suffers from paranoid personality disorder when his or her brain reacts to stressful situations in a hypertensive manner. A person cannot control his or her emotions and cannot form a firm opinion about any situation. Moreover, in later stages of the disorder, a person can suffer from hallucinations during a stressful or negative situation. A person suffering from this order cannot trust other people and has no or zero self-control. Although the problem is considerably neglected in clinical psychology, people suffering from mental setbacks due to unforgiveness can probably suffer from paranoid personality disorder. Whew. It's a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot. And I want to shout out the author of the article. Her name is Christy Hunter. She's a registered clinical counselor, British Columbia, and co-founder of Thrive. Whew, man. I hope you learned something today, because this is very impactful, informative. I would love to hear your feedback. Go to the Roy Judah on Facebook, drop some comments. And again, share the podcast with at least 2 people. 2 seconds, 2 people. Until we meet again, you are loved, you are cared for, and you are much needed. I love you, tribe. 1.